I'm Will Gompertz, the Pusey's Art Centre, and I'm sorry about this, it's a sign of the times. This is a really extraordinary situation I find myself in. I often have a privilege of seeing shows early. I don't think I've ever had the privilege of seeing a show entirely on my own for me, in person. So this is a contemporary British portrait painters collective exhibition of paintings in isolation, which has been put on in the old fire station in Oxford. And it's just for me, because all these paintings you won't be able to see in real life as I am now. They'll be online from the 31st of March. And so I'm just going to give you a little tour around, and then you can look up online who the artists are. So over here we have a selection of portraits very much in isolation. Slightly, there's a sense of desperation. None of them, of course, are looking at us, the viewer, but they're all sort of very internal. This guy, for example, with a tattoo on the back, looks like he's been maybe having more beer than he needs during the lockdown. But I like the fact that there's a lot of sunlight coming through here through the flowers, and just, I don't know, he's simply obviously deep contemplation. But there's this connection with human, house, and nature. Just feels like this sort of triangular thing we find ourselves in, and we are just nature. I think that's a lovely thing. This is beautiful. It's just so well done. The way the background walks through into the foreground gives a sense that depth of field, but also the way the sort of light just catches the ear and the jaw. And of course, the slightly macabre element of the Venetian mask, the nose, sort of speaking to our times. But this one over here it's more cheerful. A bit of colour, a bit of hope. Again, this connection back to nature, and I think we're going to see this more and more in the coming years. We've kind of forgotten about nature to our detriment, and it's just quite interesting to see it's been sort of alluded to here quite a lot. Beautiful, flat, magenta background. Rarely actually in this group of paintings somebody looking directly at us with this huge beard. You can see what he's been doing in lockdown. He's been doing a lot of grooming. It's huge big can beard. I think most ends about that. That's a really good job. But again, the light on the face is really just fantastically done. It just makes the picture ping out. But what you might be able to detect from afar is these little pink, like a pink like flower objects, which create sort of a halo. And actually the pink has an odd effect of pulling you in, focusing you in, and then brings you down to light into his eyes. And those hazel eyes and that hazel beard, they're kind of mesmerising. It's a cracking painting. I'm not quite sure what he's thinking, but he's definitely looking at me. And then over here, there's an old friend of mine, Mr. Tom Croft, who did a brilliant NHS Portraits for Heroes initiative last year, which was so terrific. And this is really disturbing, this painting. It's just saying that there's a desperation about it, and obviously the way the paint's being applied here and the choice of colours gives it a sort of sense of, I don't know, almost like he's kind of half flayed. It's a strange and haunting painting. The body, you can just really sense the volume of the body in that show. This one, again, also has this slight feeling of desperation about it. The selfie in the mirror, the phone going up, the eyes staring as they do. So it's always, with these paintings, you sense that somebody's there and they're not there. And what are you looking at, and what are they looking at? And it's sort of the whole thing is just a picture, for me at least, of detachment. This is lovely, and I love the houses in the background, and the way that the painting's been constructed. And it sort of has this sort of slightly ghostly quality that it sort of comes in and out of focus, merges with the background, steps out of the background. This one's much clearer, of course. And all these, of course, are painted in isolation, so none of these paintings, I assume, had the figure in front of the artist. So they've been used different sorts of materials, bit of zoom maybe, bit of photography maybe. But all of this is so, somehow you've just got to try and commit to the sort of psychological element of these people. And this one, I think, really captures the notion of this individual, sort of quiet, man, but you see through the eyes, intelligent, solid, thoughtful. Here's Croft again. He's in this a lot. Tom Croft, 6'7". This is a self-portrait. He's in his shower, and the light, because he's so tall, the light's right on top of his head there. So you've got this really stark look. And he's got this sort of menacing, sort of Bacon-esque, in this sort of menacing look he's giving us down his nose. But I love the golden highlights on the beard. These eyes on stalks, these comic eyes. And actually just a bit of humour, and I think that's just what we need, isn't it? Just something which is a bit, something slightly surreal, something slightly silly. And of course that sort of notion of not, of extending and bringing to our attention the notion of eyes, and yet he can't see anything because they're covered in those stupid fake eyes. So that's quite fun. This is lovely. Of a girl. Is it a daughter? Is it a friend? I don't know. And again, unsmiling, unsure, looking towards us in a manner to suggest an unfamiliarity, actually. Unlike here, much more confident, much more happy, much more vibrant. So these are sort of paintings come sculptures, even with a fag behind the ear. And just a bit of lightness, and I think lightness of touch at the moment actually is super valuable, and I really like those. This is nice, summer, relaxing. Again, this connection back to nature, which I'm seeing a lot of at the moment. Somebody's generally online sofa reading, probably just done 10 hours on Netflix, and is now ready give their eyes a rest. And I just like the balance of colours. I like the colour blocking, the blues, the oranges, the greens, and then the light coming in over the top of her head into us, the viewer. So we are the beneficiary of the light, she's not. I think that's great. This guy, it's just a good painting, by the way. This is a good painting, but he's not in a good place by the looks of things. Just, I don't know quite what, fed up, sad, possibly praying. I don't know, but I just love the way the painting is constructed and the sense of depth and feel we get from the top here. Again, the light coming in here, and then just glancing over the front of the canvas. And then this group of paintings, you didn't recognise this guy now. This is another one of Tom Croft, a much more vibrant version. This is lovely. Sort of painting of this young woman built out of principally a green palette with a brown texture, sort of touch of the Cézannes about that. And then two much more abstract images built up using very fine amount of paint, not much paint on these at all. You can see the canvas all the way through, and actually in some points here as well. So thinness, and again, this character just seems so unsure. It's a theme throughout the show. This character seems unsure and slightly disconnected, like a sort of. It reminds me sort of a cat keeping an eye on a dog somehow. Just everything's at arm's length and just primed to react if needs be. Similarly here, looking down, not catching our eye, not interested in, to a certain extent, her own world. And then finally over here, one group of three paintings, which are really fantastic, where you've got portraits over portraits over portraits. So maybe, I don't know, maybe you've got an entire family history here. But here we have the woman face onto us, again expressing very little emotion, very steady, and then two faces coming out from the side, in noses you can see. It's sort of a Magritte effect to them in a way. But again, very thinly applied paint, lots of drawing which you can see behind, and the picture's obviously built up and built up and built up through that process. So similarly here, and this has been scumbled and the old palette knife looks like it's got to work here. It's something of Munch's scream about this, isn't there? The mouth seems to be wide open, eyes being lacerated. There seems to be something really desperate about that. And here again, in a sort of a twins type style, you can this figure is echoed back and forth. And there's maybe it's three figures in here. Certainly two, but the overall effect effect is pretty dazzling, actually. And then finally, there's this great unfinished oil painting here, thick impasto, built up in very obvious blocks of colour, applied quickly by the looks of things, unfinished down here, almost modelled by clay. You know, it's got that sort of, that sense of, you know, a clay model being made. But fantastic angle, great light, really good painting to finish a show with. Right, really good painting to finish a show with.